This episode entitled Random Facts You Did Not Know. Fact number 1, cashews come from a fruit. Wow, we really broke the bank on that one.
Did you know that cashews come from fruit? Did you know that cashews come from fruit? Cashews from fruit.
Did you know that? Random factoid number 2. Doctor Who is actually the oldest member of the Who Sci-Fi Is Better debate. Whether it wins or not is up to you, with its first episode airing in 1963. That is old. Following a close second is Star Trek at 1966, followed by Star Wars, The Copycats, and Warhammer 40k at 1985. That means that Doctor Who is actually 52 years old. That's ancient by television standards. Nothing television related is supposed to last that long. Celebrities don't last a quarter of that time. The series has been kept alive by blood transfusions and facelifts. You can hear it begging to die off stage, not just listen.
Please.
Oh, that's sad. Random facticular number 3. Warhammer 40k is better than all 3 of those series combined.
What's Warhammer 40k?
That's a topic for another day. You're a bad person, John. Lesson 4. There is a version of Pokemon where the music in Lavender Town caused children across Japan to get sick and kill themselves. That could just be rumor and coincidence. However, it is true that Pokemon in that version actually die instead of fainting. That's a little bit dark. It is also true that when you lose a Pokemon battle, the screen reads, "You blacked out." It then immediately reads, "You rushed to the hospital." So remember, kids, the next time you punch someone and they faint in an alley, don't worry. They've been rushed to the hospital. Quincé. When Michael Jackson died, I was at a Christian camp. Yeah, how's that for ironic? Some people were elated. Me, personally, I had altitude sickness. We were in Colorado. What are you gonna do? Sperm Cell 7. A friend of mine recently got in so bad of a wreck his car was totaled. The agency gave him $6,000 for it. He bought it back for $1,000, fixed the bender and the headlights up for $300, and is now driving it.
Capitalism, yeah!
Number G. The Dark Knight is a great film. Seriously, Heath Ledger sold that performance like a white man sells drugs. That was fantastic. And he's gone now, but do you ever wonder what would happen when Morgan Freeman and Michael Caine are gone? Christopher Nolan's just going to contract encephalitis or something. I mean, without those guys, he's just a man with a script. And I have a script. Seriously, Caine's been in every Nolan film ever. He was even in Inception for the 2 minutes it took for him to say, "You are here to corrupt one of my best and brightest." With those men gone, it's nothing. It's nothing anymore. It's done!
Number 8.
No, you will not defile this most holy of numbers.
What about 7?
7's just a prime number.
8's just an even number, you stupid redhead.
How dare you call me a redhead? It's like calling a Mexican a Portuguese. That's rude and tasteless and uncultured. I'm not a redhead. I'm a ginger, and there's a complete and total difference. Gingers are originally from Jamaica, and that's why we don't handle the cold well. We moved to Egypt soon after the 4th millennium because we heard they had heat too and built the first pyramids as the first stones of transcendence. However, those that were left behind to carry on the genetic legacy were horribly warped by their time in cryogenic storage and became flaxen-haired, pasty-skinned, and ill-fitted to any environment except that of complete homeostasis. Redheads are completely different. They're actually an abortive experiment by the Spanish Inquisition to try to create a biological terror weapon. They experimented on us and reptiles because their manipulable genes is the entire basis of Jurassic Park. Unfortunately, Lafayette came and shut the operation down 2 months before the end of gestation, and the experiments that escaped were redheads, vampires, and anacondas. Number
9!
If you insist. Numero 15. Our worst president was the big number 15, James Buchanan. I know most of you are probably thinking,
What about Martin Van Buren?
Yeah, I bet none of you even remember old Martin Van Buren. Anyways, James Buchanan was elected before the passing of the 22nd Amendment, which means he sat in office from November of 1860 to March 4th of 1861, while 7 states of the Confederacy seceded and just said, let the new guy deal with it. What number are we even on? Girls are not weaker than guys. In fact, my brother weighs 90 pounds and I can't lift him. And yet no major sci-fi series has ever yet had a lady super soldier or corps of super soldiers because of their genetic predisposition to simply not be as potentially powerful as guys. Live, die, repeat does not count. Emily Blunt, yeah, she's blunt alright. The music in Portal is said to advance as the player completes the puzzle or doesn't complete the puzzle, which means that a single piece of music will not reappear in the soundtrack for 79,611 years, 125 days, 7 hours, 30 minutes, and 30.3 seconds. Try to prove me wrong on that. I've completely lost track of the numbers. The Generals once actually beat the Globetrotters there. I bet you didn't know that. Well, yes, I am on a drug. It's called Charlie Sheen. It doesn't take a physicist to figure it out that if you crammed everybody in the world into the smallest area possible and had them all jump, absolutely nothing would happen. But this physicist told us what would happen if we crammed them all into the size about of Rhode Island, had them jump, and then what would happen if they tried to get out of there. Well, as it turned out, every airport operating at 500% efficiency in the area could go for 20 years and not make a single dent in the crowd. Without the electricity being on, because no one is monitoring the plants, the gas pumps wouldn't work, no cars that could service the 7 billion would be able to get out, and eventually hierarchies would form and collapse overnight throughout the eastern seaboard, and society itself would fall to pieces and have to start all over again. Thank goodness we know that. The phrase is blood curdling, because when milk sours, it curdles up. And so the idea is you are so scared it has actually driven your bodily fluids to ill use, just like sour milk. Blood curling doesn't make any sense. It's curdling. I would like to make an appendum to number G, call it Appendix H. The Dark Knight is a great film except for the part where Christopher Nolan decided that a Russian acrobat should comment upon the efficiency of the police force that allows a vigilante to roam free in Gotham. Yeah, because that's not hypocritical at all. BRB, I gotta go tell Africa to get their act together. Next! Nobody wants to hear about how much your work sucks. Now, if you have a funny work story, we're all up to hear that, but nobody wants to hear about how much your work sucks because we all work in the service industry at this point. We all have to deal with people, and that's awful. You're not special. Go drink your Starbucks. Number 6. This random fact derives from a conversation that ends with some sort of, "You don't really like me. That was just one side of me." Oh God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you had dissociative personality disorder. You're not a cube! You don't have sides! Either you have a mental problem that seriously messes with your ability to interact with society, or else you don't want to go out with me. Stop acting like you're complicated. Pluto isn't a real planet. Yeah, I'm sorry. We can just get over that now, though. Well, that's about all the random gibberish I can think of. Thanks for watching, and when you're leaving a comment, just remember there's someone out there that doesn't have thumbs.